We're live.
We're live?
We're live.
We're live. How's it going, everybody? Hope you all had a great Valentine's Day.
Hi, Grace. How are you, Grace? I'll keep bumping the thing with his bell. I was like, why is he moving? Hi, everybody. Hope you guys had a good Valentine's Day.
We forgot when we said we were going to do the upload video that yesterday was Valentine's Day, so.
We didn't get around to it. We're sorry.
We'll
recap everything on Friday.
Yes, we have a lot we want to do.
We have a lot of information we want to tell you guys, so we're super excited about it.
Yes.
Want to wait for people to get on?
Yeah, so we said 7 o'clock, so we got like 3 minutes or something.
Oh, yeah, we have, what time is it?
Yep. 7:03, so it's 6:57 or something.
6:57. Oh, that was good. That was dead on.
Good guess.
I'm gonna go put stuff over here real quick.
So tonight's clinic is going to use Enzo. This is a 2-year-old. One of our clients, Lindsay, owns him. Thank you, Lindsay, for letting us use him. We appreciate it. I hope you watch tonight. We've had Enzo for a little while now. I wanted to use him instead of Peanut. He's a little more skittish than she is, so I think that'll help a little bit. You guys can kind of get a better idea of these 2-year-olds, what an average 2-year-old is like. Peanut's maybe a little better minded than most. She's a little easier than most of them.
Yeah, he got big. He got really big.
He got big, yeah.
Yeah, you want to tell him what he's out of?
When we get started, then we'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
Yes. Is the, if I get on him, will I be cut off, or is it good?
So your end mark will be...
Well, no, I know the round pen's the round pen.
Okay,
Can't get it all. But height-wise is okay?
You have to, no.
Yeah.
You'll be cut off, but...
Squeeze the trigger a little bit. Just angle it back.
Okay, that's better.
Okay.
Is it clear for you guys? Like, can you see Jeremy clear?
Yeah, we had to use a little different spot in the arena, so...
Different spots, so we don't know if it's clear or not.
Yep.
On our thing looks clear, but I don't know about you guys.
All right, it's always clear.
It's always clear on our end.
We hope you guys enjoyed the showmanship clinic. That was a lot of fun for us.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
We had...
Oh, Lindsay's on. Look, here's your baby.
Hey, Lindsay, how are you? We had 41,000 people that saw the post about the showmanship, and that's all due to you guys, so thank you so much for that.
Yes, thank you so much.
I think that video has like 100 views.
Yeah, everyone says
awesome.
it looks good, so.
Good deal.
Oh, yay. That's exciting. You come over here, Mom. Lucy said hi. Little Enzo misses you.
He'll probably be a little scared of a chair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Look how big he got.
He's huge.
He's so pretty.
So pretty.
He's gorgeous. Lindsay's watching. His little mom's watching.
Your mom's on there. You
Your
better be
mom's
good
on
for
there.
mom.
Did you want to shut that?
Yeah, I will.
Alright, you probably can get started right now if you'd like. 6:59, you have 1 minute, but you can start.
It's not a countdown. Can they see me all right? Am my head cut off? Do I need to crouch?
Kind of head cut off.
Kind
but-
of.
Kinda head cut off.
If you go on the second bar or up top.
We can sit up here. Talk to them. So for me, we'll kind of talk about, we ready to get started? We can get started, right?
You might want to go down one. Or
There you
down
go. All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. How's everybody doing tonight? This is the
Hi,
2-year-old
everyone.
live clinic. Me personally, I love the 2-year-olds. I would much rather have one that we started here than that got started somewhere else. I hate buying broke show horses. Yeah, go ahead. I hate buying broke show horses. It's my biggest fear in the world. I don't like dealing with somebody else's problems. So if they get started here, I can deal with all my own problems, all my own mistakes that we can ride into and ride out of. You gotta shut that. No, not really. So what we want to do is we want to show you guys how we start them and what the foundation and the theory is all about. I personally think that the first 30, 60 days in these horses' lives are the most important in the whole thing, right? I can't. You can hold him, I can still. That's good. So I think that the first 30, 60 days are the most important part in his whole life. To me, these youngsters are like kids in school. Okay, am I cut off? Mm-hmm. Okay, I can come. All right.
There you go.
All right. So these youngsters are like kids in school, right? So for me, kids in school, when they start, they don't inherently know that an A is good and a D is bad, right? So for us, we want to teach him what reward is and why he should go get A's in school, okay? And I think that's taught in the first 30 days. So our biggest thing with these guys, he has to learn what the right way to be is, what it's like when you get it right. So that's going to be me petting him and rubbing on his neck. For me, that's huge. They have to know what reward is. If I can teach him what reward is early on, right from the get-go, he can learn quickly. He can learn really fast, okay? So I want to make sure that we have a horse that understands release, reward, and getting in trouble, okay? So for the first 30 days, all I want is a horse that's quiet, guidable, can move around with me and be soft. And again, like we talked about in the peanut video, is stay between my hands and my feet. That's the very first thing that we do, right? So I'm going to kind of run you guys through what our first 30 days will be. We'll probably end up going a little long again today. We'll try to condense 30 days into 30 minutes. But so I want to show you guys how I start them, what I look for, the different things that they need to be able to do before we ever get on their back. So we talked before about how his transitions have got to be good. I'll show you why that is and how we do that. And then we can kind of go through and say like the different things that he should be able to do before we ever start with him under saddle, okay? This isn't the old West cowboy days where you got on and just bronked them out, right? We don't do that anymore. We kind of learned that it's better to get their trust first, and then if you have their trust, they'll do anything for you, okay? So first and foremost, I want a horse that will trust me, okay? When you're dealing with these 2-year-olds, there's a lot of misconceptions, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of comments and stuff about how early is too early on these 2-year-olds. And for me, this takes a ton of time, right? And I think that a lot of horse owners get into this, and they get their 2-year-old horse, and they don't realize how much time it takes to get one broke, okay? So that if I were to take a horse, and maybe that's a conversation we need to have too, is like establishing a timeline for your horse's career, right? When you take a 2-year-old, and say you break it out in January, you break it out, you should expect reasonably to have a horse that can kind of go around, I would say almost every horse could kind of go around, and be fairly showable at like an open show level or something by August, okay? By August, by September, okay? And that's not to say like you couldn't just set it down and gallop around. We can do that on our horses right now.
Right.
But when you get into the show world, when you're starting to teach them lift and collection and drive, that stuff takes a lot of time, okay? People send 2-year-olds to me, and it just makes me laugh. You'll get like halfway through the season, and they'll be like, I can't wait to go to the Congress and show my 2-year-old, and we're going to do the horsemanship, and we're going to do the trail. That's never going to happen, guys. It's never going to happen. You don't show a 2-year-old in the Basel at the Congress in the horsemanship, okay? You don't show it in the trail, okay? It's just, so when you think about that kind of stuff, what we do with these horses is your 2-year-old year, no matter if you start them if they're 2 or 10, is going to be the same stuff, okay? It's going to be the same fundamentals. It's going to be the same everything. The difference is if you start your horse at 10 years old, you're now showing against horses that have been doing it for 8 years. So there's just a degree of being solid that they have that you don't have anymore, okay? So you are behind the 8 ball. So I think personally when we start these horses in January of their 2-year-old year, it gives us time to give them time off, okay? And that's the biggest piece for me. It gives us time to take our time and let him progress at his own pace, okay? So there are things that Peanut has done really, really well, that she's just cruised through that grade, she's cruised through that subject. Getting started under saddle was one of those things, okay? I would say on ride 3 or 4, we were out here with spurs on, going around looking pretty good, okay? That's been fantastic. That was great for her. But that's, again, to take it back to the school analogy, that's a kid that's good in math, and maybe might not be so good in English down the road, right? So this horse, for me, he's taken a little longer to get his mind right, to get him where he trusts us, and he's not so skittish, and he's not so looky, than Peanut did. That's not to say he's not going to catch up down the road, right? But we need to take our time and get him right here, rather than just keep shuffling through the grades and keep pushing him through and keep forcing him to do it, right? So starting him early in his career gives us time to do that. If you start your horse, you say, you know what, I'm going to leave it off, I'm going to let it grow up. And some horses do need to, and it's a case-by-case basis. Some horses make good early futurity horses, some horses don't. Some horses make horses that we start in January, we put 30 days into, and we kick back out and leave out in a pasture until April or May, okay? So for us, when we take these horses, each one's going to be an individual, each program's going to be tailored to that horse specifically, and we want to make sure that our expectations are good, our horse's expectations are good, and our owner's expectations are good, right? Because managing those three is the key to having a good 2-year-old. We have to remember that our dreams, our hopes and dreams, are not necessarily what he's up to, right? That it doesn't matter if you want to go win the Congress, it's got to be his dream too, okay? If his dream is to go win the Congress as a 2-year-old, he's going to come out here and work hard every day. If it's not, and some horses it's just not, they make good 3-year-olds, they make good 4-year-olds, they make good horsemanship horses, okay? But realize and recognize that we don't take 2-year-olds and show them in the horsemanship. I don't even teach my 2-year-olds showmanship at all, okay? I think through the course of this breaking process, through the course of training them and teaching them to go around and starting them, we do too much backing and turning to do backing and turning on the ground and teaching them how to turn and do stuff for showmanship. Because I don't expect a 2-year-old to have the patience to go out there and be good in a showmanship class anyway. So we have no dreams or aspirations of showing our 2-year-olds in the showmanship, so we don't even teach them, okay? We don't teach them until they grow up a little bit. So when we take these horses, we have to understand that it is better to start early and give time off when you need it than start late and be under the gun. And I think that's where a lot of trainers and a lot of horses go wrong, and a lot of owners too are all at fault, right? When you start having to rush these horses, someone sends it out in April and wants it ready for the Congress in October, it just doesn't work that way, guys. So for me, send them out early, get your trainer started on them, and just work with your trainer. And if you don't have a trainer that you can trust to do that with, reevaluate that piece of it, right? So if you don't trust your trainer to go out there and make good decisions for your horse and work with you and have good communication and have that be a team effort, right, then it just doesn't work. And for 2-year-olds, there's a lot of risk involved in this. Some of them make it, some of them don't. So we want to make sure that we give this horse the best shot we've got. And the only way we can do that is by giving him the most time possible, right? That is the most fair way to him because horse training purely takes time, guys. So we want to make sure that our expectations are realistic and we work with our horse and we have a communication throughout the year to decide what is this horse going to do, okay? So, and keep in mind, guys, these 2-year-olds cannot show before July, okay? So there is not a show for a 2-year-old before July. That is the earliest possible that they can show. So we've got lots of time, okay? So without talking too much, I want to talk while I do this. We'll get started with him. This is Enzo. This is a 2-year-old. He is a Southern Thing baby out of a blazing hot mare. The things that I like about this horse, he's got a lot of natural lift in his shoulders, and I think that's maybe to the Southern Thing's credit. I think that's one of the things that he really stamps on him is really good lift in their shoulders. This horse in particular, and Lindsay and I have talked about that, he's a little bit more baby-minded than some of these other ones. So we've had to work with him a little bit on being focused and being a good student because he is busy. And so we kind of just do that and we roll through that way and we just work with each horse as they come to us and as he learns and progresses, okay? So I'll jump up here, we'll get started. I'll run you through how we start these guys, the different things that we want them to be able to do, and how we progress from maybe the first ride to like ride 30 probably, okay? So I want a horse that's really trusting, wants to be with me, okay? I don't want a horse that doesn't want to follow me around, doesn't want to be with me, isn't concerned about what I do, okay? So I like that about this horse. He really kind of wants to be with you. He wants to be in your pocket, sometimes a little too much, okay? So when we start these horses, we'll come over here so you can see it. First thing I want to be able to do, this is the best training tool I have right here, the palm of my hand, okay? I want to be able to touch these horses. I want to be able to touch and rub them everywhere. So we'll pat their belly, we'll pat their hip. If you watch me with my horses, with all of them, we pet them. I mean, if you see us at a horse show, we pet them, right? If you hear that smacking sound, it's probably us at a horse show reaching out and petting them. Because we really want them to know and trust me, okay? So once I have a horse that I can roll all over and touch and just rub everywhere, and he doesn't really care about it, you see, I'm feeling it with my hand. I'm feeling if he gets tense or tight anywhere when I'm doing this, okay? Want to be able to do that on both sides. Got to have that horse's trust, okay? So he's being pretty good about that. Then I will take my rope, and I'll sling my rope around him. And this took a little while with this horse, and I haven't done it with him in a little bit, so we'll see how he is. But it took a little while for this horse to not care about this.
Jeremy,
Yep.
can you move up just a little bit? Because that is in the way. That
Yep.
thick
Oh,
pole.
the big bar?
Yeah, the big bar. Okay.
Perfect. So I'll take this rope and I'll sling it around him. I want him to be comfortable and relaxed about this. Okay? I don't want him to care about this part of it because this becomes my cinch. Okay? So I'll sling it up and over his back. I'll take it right here, take it underneath, and I'll squeeze it up into him. And you see he doesn't care about that. So if I have a horse that doesn't care about that, I know I can probably get a cinch under there and cinch him up and he's not going to care. Okay? So these are going to be all the little secrets that I have that make the first ride go well. So slinging the rope, cinching him up, be really good about that, right? So come in here. Then I'll take my pad. Thank you. Take my pad and just kind of lob it at him, right? I want a horse that's really quiet about this, that I can just come in here and just sling this pad at him, and he can just stand here. It wasn't always like this. I'm really hoping that he makes some mistakes through the course of this because I want you guys to see how long a process this can be and what happens when it goes wrong. This is why I'm using him instead of Peanut. He's had a little less time, and he's a lot less adult-minded. He's more of a juvenile for sure. So he's being pretty good about that, so I would say we're ready to introduce the saddle, so bring that out, please. Again, I always evaluate this horse and how he looks, right? I have a horse who's standing here quiet. He's not wanting to dance around much. Sling the saddle up there. Good. So Macy, you want to hold him? This part to me, the first time being saddled is really, really important. He does not move his feet until we have him cinched up, okay? So I want to make sure that I'm moving around kind of briskly right here, kind of quickly and efficiently moving around to get this cinched up as soon as possible, because I do not want him to move the feet before the saddle's tight, because the saddle's going to come off then, and if the saddle comes off at this stage, you're going to set yourself back because you're going to scare him, okay? So luckily with all these horses, it's gone really smooth with them. We've not had any setbacks, and that's just kind of luck of the draw. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, right? Sometimes they move, and the saddle falls off, and they get scared, and you got to go back and let them know it's going to be okay. Okay? So I'm going to come in here, cinch this up really quick. Perfect. Okay? So I don't cinch him real tight around here, just tight enough that he can get used to it. Okay? So once I have a horse that can lunge, then we saddle him up right away, because I think this takes just time to get used to. Okay? So again, you see, as I'm working with him, I'm petting him, I'm rubbing him everywhere. I want a horse that lets me do that. This is my barometer. Okay? If I have a horse that will keep his neck down and be soft in his eye and his neck, I'm doing my job. Okay? Watch this piece. This will tell you everything. If his neck is up and his eyes are big, he's going to be a little bit scared. He's going to have a hard time, and you're probably going a little too fast. Okay? Obviously, he doesn't care too much about what's going on just yet. So he's more interested in eating Macy. So then we'll take him. We'll put a set of tires on him here in just a second. So kind of to give you guys an idea of the timeline, if I have a horse that's just good-minded, it'll take us probably a week to go to put all the groundwork, maybe 2 weeks, put all the groundwork on him, get him really quiet way where we can rub him everywhere, get the pad on, get the saddle on, okay? And that's being pretty conservative, okay? So once I've got the saddle on, put my tires on, you guys saw these before in the Peanut video if you watched that. These are my favorite tool ever. Put these on, flip them up. The first time you do that, the first time you saddle them, it's going to be kind of exciting, right?
It's nerve-wracking and exciting.
It doesn't bother me too much if they jump around a little bit at that point. Usually they calm right back down if I've done my job prepping them to lunge. So because I want to get on this horse and show you guys how we start them that way, I'm not going to spend too much time getting into like how I lunge them. Without the saddle on and stuff, I can do it while he's saddled. So just imagine we didn't have a saddle on. This is what would be like the week before he had a saddle on. Okay? I'll lunge him. So then we'll spend maybe 2-3 days getting this horse used to being the saddle on. We'll spend maybe 2 days getting this horse used to having the tires on, and then we'll put a rubber snaffle on. I hope everybody can see that. This is a big fat black rubber snaffle. This is my colt starting bit of choice. Okay, I like this because they can kind of hang on it, they can push on it, it won't intimidate them, it won't scare them. Okay, so we use this rubber snaffle. When you go to put this on, again, I want to make sure this horse takes the bit easily. For those of you that have horses that you can't worm, this is the secret right here. Okay, take their head, put your right arm around them, curl their neck to you. I can lean back into him, rub your thumb on the inside of his mouth, on the roof of his mouth. You'll be able to do anything you want to their mouth. Okay, just want to rub it in there, let him just kind of chew on that, pet him, come back, rub on this, chew on it, pet him. Good, good. Horses learn from the release, so I want to put him in spots and then turn him loose when he does it right. So, what's that? Yep, yep. And then a rubber strap. Where's that? So we're going to put this on. Put this equipment on here. Kelly doesn't have an eye. This way. Track star, Macy Blau.
Track star. Coming in hot.
Good work.
Oh, lower.
Ah, so before we put that on, I'll show them what it is.
Okay. It's a rubber strap that we hook to the bit.
Shoulder ring on the
ring.
saddle and the edge of the bit. Okay, it's just a rubber strap, rubber tie. A couple different people make them. I think Phil Russell makes them. Dave Kellerman makes them. You can buy them. We get them at Congress.
Yep.
They're like $20, $25, something like that. So it goes to the bit, goes to the shoulder ring on the saddle. The reason why I do this is because I want this horse to understand right from the get-go how to give to pressure and how to arc up on a circle. Okay? So I want him to understand arc on a circle, giving his head over the inside. Okay? This will kind of keep him from getting counter-bent. He'll stay with me a little bit easier. Okay? Again, we talked before, I'm a freak about lunging. He needs to walk, trot, and lope when I ask him to. Okay? I do not want him to take off. I want him to be calm and relaxed to this whole deal. Again, this is about trust, and it's about his confidence. So if he can come out here and be confident, be trusting.
Do you see a horse with a busy mind being easier or harder to break?
That's a great question.
That's by Megan.
Yep, that's a great question. For me, if I had to choose between this one and Peanut, Peanut was the easiest horse in the world to break out. We are going to have to, at some point, deal with her attitude, okay? I personally would much rather have one learn to lose and learn to submit here now than have to deal with it down the road. I've had a lot of horses where people have, I've started them and they've been just fantastic. It's been a breeze to do, and it kind of comes back to bite us in the butt later on when that horse does decide it doesn't want to do it, right? Because that's going to happen, okay? So I always try to make sure that I don't necessarily mind if my horse gives me a hard time here, okay? At some point, I'm going to have to tackle them saying no and them wanting to not do it, okay? Because just like a person, right? These horses to me are athletes. Just like any athlete, there's going to be a day where you just don't feel like doing it, okay? I want my horse or my athlete to know that you've got to push through them, okay? That doesn't just come out inherently in every athlete to me, okay? So for me, every horse at some point is going to have to learn to give to that pressure. The only way they do that is by making mistakes and getting it wrong, okay? So I do not mind a horse that gets it wrong in the very beginning, okay? The horse that gets it right all the time is like the kid that never messes up, or his parents are super strict. They go off to college and they just freak out, right? So that's just how it works. So for me, I don't mind one that messes up right now and is a little busier minded or a little bit tougher minded, because there's so much new stuff that's happening right here. And that kind of goes along the same terms with, people always ask me, how much should I do with my 2-year-old before I send it out? And for me, nothing. You're wasting your time. Okay? I don't want a horse that has much done with it because I'm going to have to run him through my entire program regardless. If all of this is brand new and fresh to him, I can A, control the environment, make sure it's quiet, make sure he's soft and supple with me, and he doesn't get scared. And B, every new thing that I introduce to him is an opportunity to establish that I'm in charge, I'm the leader, right? So I want this horse to know early on that I'm going to be calling the shots here, okay? If I have a horse that comes out here and I'm trying to teach him first grade stuff, and he's telling me, well, I already know that stuff, then I'm going to have a hard time filling in all those gaps, right? It gives him an opportunity to learn me, and it gives me an opportunity to learn him, right? So this horse got a real easy jog on him. I'm not looking for any kind of speed control here. I'd rather have him go a little faster right now than be super slow, okay? So I do work on my transitions when I lunge. I'm big, big, big on it. So I want a horse that will walk, trot, and lope right here in the middle of the pen. So walk, walk. Good. So I will step in front of him in the round pen here, or even if I was lunging out in the big pen, I'll step in front of him, and I'm going to pull my line. I'm going to pull really steady, okay? Steady pressure, so that when I do feel him break down, I can turn loose right away, okay? That right there is probably the key to teaching good down transitions. Steady pressure, when he breaks, let go, okay? As opposed to when you ask him to trot or come down and you bump on him and you bang him, okay? I don't want to bang on him to do this. I also, one of my biggest pet peeves is when I reach down and grab the whip, a horse that takes off, okay? Again, he needs to be relaxed and calm and confident out here. I don't want him scared of the whip, okay? So I want to make sure that I have a horse that will stay with me. Hey. So this horse is always a little rambunctious when you first start. I'm just going to break him down until I get the transition I'm looking for. Get what I want out of him. So I've got a good pace going here. You'll see me wave my arm at him every now and then. I want him to stand up and keep his shoulders on the outside of the pen. That's what the rubber strap is for. If I push his shoulders out and I bring his head to the inside, he's going to have a good arc to his body before I ever get on his back. So he's going to have decent shape to him. He's going to be decently round before I ever get on him. Good boy. So I like that lope off. This horse is kind of notorious for swapping leads behind. He's being pretty good about it today. That kind of goes back to the same thing. If I'm keeping his head over the inside, I'm keeping his shoulders up to the outside, his hip will by itself come into the middle of the pen. So when I start this stuff, we're going to go like a few laps here. I'll break him back down. So step in front of him, break him down nice and soft. So he's being really good there. The whole time I'm doing this, I'm evaluating my horse. When I start this stuff, I want him to break down, I want him to lick and chew, I want to see if his head is high or if it's low or where it is. Okay? If his head is really high, my horse is a little bit skittish. I should do more down transition. Okay? The thing about these horses is if you take them and you let them just race around, they just kind of build themselves up more and more and more. Okay? And they'll get just fired up. So for me, I want to break him down to a walk. I want to make sure he's staying nice and calm. I don't want him to be rushing all over the place out here. Again, his foundation is going to be Western pleasure, so I need a horse that's really relaxed. He took that one on his own, I'm not going to take him. That's what I like about the tires, right there. So when he's jumping around, those tires can kind of bounce on his sides, and he can get used to flopping around. And, I mean, they're going to do this stuff, guys. They're going to do this stuff under saddle. Probably the biggest thing for a 2-year-old, for me, is that you've got to be a good rider if you're going to do it on your own, okay? If you aren't a rider that can ride through some of that stuff, you should pass on it, okay? Because you're going to be afraid to train your horse, okay? You guys know we do it live around here, so We might see some exciting stuff. So I don't mind if he counter canters, but I will break him down if he swaps leads behind. He's on the wrong lead behind. Counter cantering, he's going to have to do a lot of it in life, but swapping leads behind, I will break him down for, and we'll start again. He'll figure out the right position to be in as we go. Like I said, that's hard for this horse in particular to do. Good boy. So you're going to hear me tell him good boy a lot. This is maybe more talking than he's used to. Good boy. Good boy. Hey. Step in front, break him down, then step back and go back to neutral. This is my neutral position. If I step back towards his hip and bump his face, that's drive up, that's take a forward gear. If I step in front and I pull on him, that's a down transition, it's a down gear. Okay? That's really, really important. And you're going to see why when I go to get on his back and Macy's the one lunging me. So that's a good little low block right there. I like it. The whole time I'm doing this, I'm evaluating him as if I had to ride him. So I think about what's this first ride going to look like if I jumped on right now? If he jumps into his transitions, if he leaps into a lope off and he's got a big, powerful lope when I get going, I need to be ready for that when I go to ride him. And I either need to say, you know what, I need to come back here, do more transitions, work harder at this to get my horse a little bit more prepared to ride, or I need to be ready for it when I jump on. So I kind of try to get them all to a certain point before I get on their back. Watching him, I see him drop his lead a lot behind. I need to be ready for that when I go to training. I just make a little note of it, and I'm ready to move on. Just think about it when I'm training on him, that he's going to have a little bit harder time keeping his hip on the inside because he doesn't quite understand the position just yet. So I'm watching this horse, I'm making notes of him, I see that he keeps his ear on me, he keeps an eye on me. The one place that I do lose his attention is always right here, okay? He kind of has a tendency to look out the gate and just kind of wander and wonder what he's doing. Yes, question?
Katie said, what's hanging over your saddle?
Hanging over the saddle, the tires.
The tires for the black things right here.
The flaps,
tires.
the tire flaps on
Yep.
it, the things bumping around on it?
Yep.
Yep.
Those are tires. And then
So those act as my leg when I'm riding around.
She said, what's the size of your round pen?
This is probably...
We left one panel out.
Yeah, I left one panel out. It's a pre-foot round pen, and this is a 30-foot lunge line. If that gives you an idea. So this is probably a 50-foot round pen.
Yep. I think there's more, but I can't see it. There's more, but I can't really see it. So I'm sorry if I can't get the rest of it.
Don't worry, we'll get you guys in the follow-up video too.
To Kimberly. Well, yeah, we'll catch up in the follow-up video too.
So I always evaluate my horse's freshness level. This horse sleeps really well every night. He comes out excited to be here every single day. So some horses are like that. Doesn't bother me a bit. What it does tell me about this horse is as we go, I'm going to get him out and I'm going to have a fresh horse and a fresh mind every single day. Okay? I've had some horses that are really lethargic, that you can only work them 3 days. You got to give them a day off because they're just exhausted. So again, each horse's personality is going to be different. I'm not trying to get them all to be robots. Okay? I want a horse that wants to come out here and work. I don't mind if he comes out a little bit fresh. That's his horse. That's his personality. Okay? All it means is that my workout's going to be a little bit slower than one that wants to come out and be a little dull. If I have a dull horse, my workout's going to be a little bit sharper, a little bit more demanding. Okay? Ooh. So I stop him here, always reach up, walk up, pet him, and evaluate. Where is he at? If I let him loose from the rubber tie, does he stay here with me, or does he wander off? Does his head go someplace else? Is his attitude someplace else? What's he going to do? Okay? I got a horse that wants to be right here with me. I make a note of that. I reward him for it. That's what I want. If he doesn't want to be right here with me, I've got some more work to do getting this horse to understand that I'm in charge and he needs to stay with me. So I'll come through, I'll switch my chain for my lunge line, and I'll switch my rubber tie.
You always switch your chain.
Always switch my chain.
All the time.
So this is really, really important because when we go to ride him, I'm going to ride him, I'm going to stop. When we go to switch directions, I jump off. Macy switches the chain, we switch the rubber tie, we give him a chance to chill out, and then we hook him back up and we go the other way. This is a danger spot for a lot of horses because when we go off to the right, for your first ride, I want him to be really calm and relaxed about this. See how easy he walks off? If he jumps out of this, believe when you go to get on him and ride him, he's going to jump off. I want to keep my first ride as quiet as possible. If he goes to jump off, that's a big move. If I'm not confident in my riding, I'm going to get scared. And I'm going to clench up on him. I'm going to tighten up and be scared. He's going to feel that, and our first ride's not going to go well. So we'll lunge him here to the right. Hey. Again, I clucked, he loped, so I broke him down right away. Once he started trotting, I stopped clucking. He's going to lope again. Good boy. Good boy. For me, I don't so much care how fresh he is. He needs to do the gear that I'm asking him to do. I think it's maybe a little better to have a horse that comes out a little fresher because he's trying things on his own and he's making mistakes. And every mistake that my horse makes is a training opportunity. Okay? Don't get mad at your horse for messing up here because those are all training opportunities. If I have a horse that comes out here and only ever does what he's told to do, and he's too scared to try things on his own, for fear of getting in trouble, I can't really train on that horse. I want one that's not afraid to come out here and try different things. Because then I can always show him what the right thing was supposed to be. And that maybe goes back to Megan's question about a little bit more baby-minded horse. If they are afraid to make mistakes or they just don't make mistakes, they're hard to train on. I'm going to lope off here. I don't worry about that head toss and stuff. That kind of just evaluates his freshness level to me. And the rubber tie will take care of a lot of that. So a little bit more time with the rubber strap will kind of help him understand that his head's got to stay over the inside as we do this stuff. So again, you'll see me step into him. I'll break him down whenever he drops his lead behind. So he's being pretty good right here. I've got pretty good transitions right here. My horse is staying looking at me. He's staying right here with me. I like that.
Mitchell asked, love the tire equipment, gotta get a set. Have you done any ground driving?
I'm not a huge fan of ground driving. And it's not to say it doesn't really work. It's just not something that I learned how to do, right? So this is my process. Take what pieces of it you enjoy, take what pieces make sense to you, use them. The other pieces, just file them away because you might get a horse later on that you need them on, right? So for me, this stuff is like, it's like building a house. The more tools you have, the better off you're going to be. When you run into a horse that's a little bit more complicated, the more tools you have in your box, the better off you're going to be. So you can learn something from every single person you run into, okay? Even if it's what not to do with one.
Right.
There's been a lot of times I've sat and watched at the horse show and gone, man, I would never do that with one. But then I'll get a horse and I'll be like, well, remember that one time I saw that person doing that? And we'll try it and it'll work on that particular horse. So don't ever judge a book by its cover and just file things away and say, you know what? I don't need to do that right now. It doesn't necessarily fit in my program for the horses that I have, but maybe later on you need to. As a professional, as a coach of all these horses, I have to be flexible and deal with the different personalities of horses that I'm given. So I want to make sure that I've got all the different methods of doing that, of dealing with those different kinds of horses and different kinds of athletes. So I like how he's going around here now. He's a little bit softer, he's a little quieter. I think maybe when you work with these horses, your actual training time through the course of your workout is about 15-20 minutes. The rest of the time, you are warming up to get the fresh off or cooling out. Okay, so our rides end up being about 45 to an hour long, and 15-20 minutes that's going to be introducing new topics. Okay? I don't think you can go out there and take your horse and train on him something new for an hour straight. They just don't have that kind of attention span. You'll burn them up. They'll get bored or they'll get resentful. So we spend 15 minutes or so building muscle, doing different things. Then we spend 15 minutes training. We spend 15 minutes touching base on what we worked on last week, and then we're cooling out.
Okay, so Pat Martinez, what was it? I'm sorry if I demolished your name. I had your first name though. He said, do you have a bridle on him?
I do. I have a rubber snaffle on him.
He has
with
a rubber
snaffle.
strap. Yep. And then what does your beginner bit look like? The rubber snaffle.
So it's either the rubber snaffle with reins on, or it's just a smooth snaffle right here.
This is the smooth snaffle. Nothing too bad. Just a little smooth snaffle.
Yep.
And then there's more of a question, but I can't see it.
There should be lots of questions on this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, someone answered. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay. Do you want me to?
Yep, come on out. So once I've got the initial little bit of fresh off of him, I think we've been almost 15 minutes exactly, right? With a little bit of lunge right here. I'll take my horse, pull him back to the middle.
You can read them all if you want.
Pull him back to the middle, we'll take his equipment off, we'll switch the bridle.
How many hours a day or week do you work your 2-year-olds?
Every horse is an individual, okay? So if you missed that part earlier when I was talking about that, each horse is a case-by-case basis, okay? What I want to be able to do is have the flexibility, whether it's because we started him kind of early, and because I have understanding owners that trust me. I want an owner that will understand sometimes we ride these things 5 days a week, sometimes we ride them 6 days a week, sometimes we do 3 and we decide they need 3 or 4 off. Okay? I want to have the flexibility to do that. Okay? So I've never been one that some people ask me like, do you promise you ride these horses 5 days a week? I don't. Sometimes we ride them twice a day, sometimes we ride them 3 times a day, shorter rides to get them kind of used to a show atmosphere, and sometimes they need a day off. Okay? These horses, to me, are like athletes. If you've ever watched a pro football team, sometimes you have athletes that go out there and they start every single game and are just Ironmen. And sometimes you have ones that are superstar athletes, but maybe they can't make every single game. Okay? Or maybe they can't go hard every single practice. Maybe they've got to skip or rest in between games. I am the coach of these horses. These are my players. This is my football team. Okay? So I want to be understanding with each and every one on a case-by-case basis. Okay?
Lunge line?
Yep, lunge line. Well, I threw it away. Whoops. My bad.
I was like, oh, okay.
All right. So when we put the first ride on one, this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to sit there like a sack of potatoes as quietly as I can. Macy is going to lunge me. The reason I do that is because to me, on these 2-year-olds, we can only introduce one new topic at a time. Okay? If I want to move these horses up, I want to introduce one new thing at a time. So he already understands, because we've done our groundwork, we've done our work, what a cluck, a kiss, hey, and walk and whoa mean from the middle. Macy has a lot of tools to do that. She's got her voice, she's got pulling on the line, and she's got stepping in front or behind him. Because of that, on my first ride, when I go to sit on his back, I don't need to do anything. I'm just going to sit there quietly, not going to kick him, not going to really cluck or kiss much. I just want him to understand weight on his back. That's the one new topic.
Yep.
So the very first ride, one new topic is weight on his back. The second ride, we start transitioning from control with her to control with me. Okay? So I want to take my horse, I want to make sure he's really quiet. I'll bang on the saddle, I'll flop my stirrups. I do not baby these horses when it comes to sound, and I don't creep or tiptoe around them because I want them to be really quiet. Okay? So I want a horse that I can flop these stirrups around, and I can be just treat him as if he was a broke horse, and he will get there. If I'm tiptoeing around him, if I'm scared of him, he's going to pick up on it, and he's going to be naughty about it. So the very first thing that I do, I'll hop next to him. That's going to get him used to what it's like when I go to jump on his back. Okay? Hop next to him, put some weight in his stirrups and lean into him, get him used to all those different things. When I go to get on him for the first time, when I go to get on him for the first time, I'll pull his head around to me, I'll bounce next to him like this. Then I'm going to drop out, reach down and pet him. I want a horse that just stands here quietly through all of that. So I'll sit right here, bounce on him, I'm going to come up, I'm going to put a knee on his butt, I'm going to pet him. I'm going to get down. Okay? We're going to get on and off of this horse a million times in the beginning, as many times as we need to, for him to understand that he's got to stand here quietly. Okay? So I'm going to get up and down on there a lot. I'm going to bounce next to him. I'm going to get him really quiet to this. This, to me, is the most dangerous part of riding a horse, is getting on or off right away. Okay? It's the most vulnerable position that I can be in. So I want a horse to understand he's got to be really quiet right here. Okay? So I reach down, pet his neck, pet his belly on the other side. Just get him used to it. And then I'll sit on his back. Okay?
Does he still have a bridle on? They can't see.
Yeah, he's got a snaffle on, just a smooth snaffle.
We can show the equipment when we're done riding him. You can put it up.
Yep. So now, when we go to walk off, Macy's in control here. I am just sitting here, so I can just sit right here like this. And I'm not gonna kick or anything, I just want to sit on him. He already understands all of the cues and commands from Macy, from the person in the middle. So, because we've done our lunging, because we're really particular about the way we lunge him. So I should be able to come up here and just sit on him. And all I want to do is just get him used to squeezing my legs. And the only reason I want to do that is to be able to keep myself safe if he does go to jump around. If you've done your work right, in my opinion, if you've done your work right and you've used the tires, they're not going to jump around the first ride. Because he's used to legs being on him, he's used to being things flopping and making noise on him. Okay? So I'll take my feet, I'll just wiggle him into stirrups, I'll kind of make noise up here, I want to reach back, I want to pet him all over, I want to tell him good boy, want him to be good about stuff. I'm looking for a nice, easy, relaxed walk here. Okay? The horse's head's real level, he's expressive with his ears, but he's not quick with his movements, so it tells me he's relaxed. Okay? When we go to do transitions, it's all on her. I'm not going to kick. Okay? We don't kick ever on these horses. What I might do is I might squeeze my legs, but if you want to keep yourself safe, especially on these colts, especially like the first ride, don't kick him. Okay? Because he's already going to be scared. So if I kick him, I'm just asking him to blow up. Okay? So our first ride is going to look a lot like this. I'm going to sit here. We're going to say, all right, let's trot. Move up into a trot. When I feel safe, we set down, we pet him. All I want to do is keep him going forward. So we'll maybe trot half a lap, and we'll break back down. Walk. And that's it. That's our trot. Well, then we'll go back up. I might do this 10 times before we lope. I want to do lots of down transitions. I want this horse relaxed. I walk, trot, lope him the first time I ever ride him. Okay? Because I've had horses where you'll just walk, trot them for a few months maybe, and then when you go to lope them, it's a big, scary deal.
Scary.
And I don't want this to be a big, scary deal for these horses. We'll go back up to a trot. Again, I don't care about speed. As he settles into this, as he relaxes, he'll get a little bit softer. I'm not going to pull on him. You see how I keep my hands out in front of me? The only thing I want to be able to do is pick his head up if he goes to drop it down low. Because then I don't want to let him drop down if he goes to buck on. Want to make sure your hat's on tight. You don't want that to fall off and smack your horse. So as a rider, I'm going to use my weight a little bit to stand him up. If I feel him start to fall down, I'm going to wrap my inside leg on. I might pull my inside rein a little bit, and I'll lean to the outside. You see how it takes him to the outside of the round pen. I want him to stay up in his shoulders. I want him to stay out to the outside of the pen. So this is somewhat on me and somewhat on Macy. If she waves the line at him, then he'll stand up, he'll move out to the outside of the circle.
Jeremy, how many rides does Enzo have on him?
I don't know.
Not sure.
I don't.
I'm not quite
Less than peanut. He said way less than peanut. So.
Way less than peanut.
Yep. Like I said, this horse we've taken our time on. He's a lot more fragile than she is and a lot more baby-minded. So we've let him kind of grow up along the way. But, I mean, we videoed his first ride. We videoed Peanut's first ride. It didn't go much different than this. Okay? The only thing that's really changed is now he doesn't have to be ridden on the line. He doesn't have to be ridden in the round pen. We're riding him out there. That's all that's really changed in his life. The very first ride went just like this, and I'm sure we have it on video. I can upload it to my YouTube if you want to see it.
Yep.
Okay? So over the course of this, all we've done is transition from Macy being in control to me being in control. So the voice commands switch from the middle to me. So what I do is the next time I come out here, the next ride is going to be me doing more of the clucking and Macy backing me up from the center with her arms. Okay? So then when we go and we have a good control with me doing it, we'll take it off the line and we'll stay in the round pen with Macy in the middle. So then all we've changed again is one thing at a time. We changed the transitions to me, and then we took the line off of it. Once he's good about that, then we take Macy out of the middle and we leave me out here. Once he's good about that, we take him out in the big pen, we ride him out there. Okay? So you see I've done a lot of down transitions and a lot of walking, a lot of trotting. We'll move him up to a lope. So right here, stand him up, moving him around. So we're coming around. When I go lope off, again, I'm going to keep myself safe. I'm going to grab the saddle horn on top and push myself away and lean back. Okay? Don't grab from underneath and pull yourself to it. This is launch mode. Don't put yourself in launch position on your horses. You are way safer to lean back on these colts and be back here over their butt if they go to buck on you. Okay? So we'll go lope off. Little fresh, I like it. So our lope is going to be a couple laps right here like this. See, I'm not pulling on his face. Hey, he went to break down on his own, so we just owned it. I'm not going to dictate to him where he has to be through this stuff. Okay? So he wanted to break down on his own. I'm not going to have Macy kiss and sling the line at him and bring him back up to a lope because that's going to scare him. And I want to keep this as quiet and comfortable and easy as possible. I don't want to scare him through this stuff. So if he wants to break down, that's okay. We'll break all the way back down to a walk and we'll pick up a lope again. So if I have him come out there and he's a little bit fresh for that lope off, we're going to do another one. So we'll let him walk and just pet him here. I reached back and I touched his hip a second ago. He was kind of timid about it, so we'll get back there. We'll make a bunch of noise on it. We'll rub him. Make sure he's good about it. We'll go back up to a jog. Good boy. So again, if you're breaking a 2-year-old out and the thought of him being a little frisky through that lope off scares you, don't do it. Send it to the professional. Get help. That little jump around or head twist or whatever doesn't bother me a bit. And I'm not going to get after him for it. Okay? If I were to back down from my load off at that point, he's going to know that every time he goes to load off, he's going to get jerked on. He's not going to want to load off, or it's going to be a big scary deal to him every time. So when you're doing this yourself, guys, I want to empower you to do this yourself as much as possible, but realize your limitations as riders. Because you do have to be a good, solid rider that's not scared of horses to break out your own 2-year-old. So we'll go back up to a lope. Good boy. Good boy. So right there, I'll just pull his head up. Enzo's like, it's after dinner time, guys. We're excited. Good boy. Good boy. Hey. Break him back down. Reach down, pet him. Break him to a walk. Good boy. And you see how sharp those down transitions are, right? I said walk, he came right down. I didn't have to pull on him, I didn't have to do much. Our up transitions, our down transitions are very, very soft. I don't have to kick, I don't have to pull. It's out of my seat, it's out of my voice. So someone had asked me before, how do we get our transitions so good? They start on a lunge line. Get them sharp on a lunge line. If they're sharp on a lunge line, they'll be good under saddle for your first rides. So we're going to stop, head to the inside, pull them in. I'll get off, we'll undo the line, we'll switch, I'll get back on. Okay, so we're going to turn loose. So fast forward a few rides, we're now off the line. We've done our homework, our horse has been really good. Macy's out in the middle. So we're going to send this horse off. Macy still has a lot of control from here, guys. So what that means is I can teach my horse to turn around and follow his nose really, really easily. I'm going to take his head, I'm going to pull it into the fence while Macy cuts across. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. I'll turn around right in front of you. This is how I teach him to turn around and obey my legs. So I'm going to walk him up here. Go ahead and cut me off. We'll teach him to turn around right here. And I'll turn loose. Okay? I'll walk back up here. You see, he's still got his eye on Macy. He really is not paying much attention to me. He's super focused on her. He knows that that's the person in charge. Okay, you see where he's got an ear on her the entire time. So we'll come back up here. I'll turn him around again. We taught him how to do this stuff off the lunge line with the rubber strap. So we'll cut him off. Teach him to follow his nose across. Very good. We'll do that again up here. We'll turn him around again. See where I slide down the reins? When he gets up and across, we turn him loose. So if you guys saw the video with Peanut that had 25 rides, she had a pretty good turnaround. This is where it starts. I don't turn him towards me, or towards Macy. I always turn him back into the fence because he can get around his shoulders that way really easily. So he's listening to Macy, and I can start adding my own pluck and my own tap with my foot to it. So I've got my horse right here. We'll turn him around again. And see how sharp that was. So the second he gets around there, I turn loose. Reach down, pet him. We'll go back up to a trot. So now we're off the lunge line. Now I start steering around a little bit more. He's still, look at him watch Macy. He's still very concerned about what she's doing. If she moves up a little bit sharper than what he's used to, you're going to see him squirt a little bit. He's going to get just a little scooty underneath of me. That's okay. I like that. This horse is really responsive. Good boy. So look at that ear. That right ear is right tuned to Macy. He's all about it. Which, he's used to riding with nobody in the middle, so he's like, this is new. Good boy.
Well, back to the beginning.
Yeah, back to the beginning. So see him look at her. If she steps a little bit to her right, too far in front of him, he's going to break back down. Good boy. Good boy. So this is what the next set of rides looks like. We get him used to nobody being, or not being on the line. Macy standing in the middle. Go ahead and leave the round pen, Mace. First time you do this, they're going to be a little bit lost, and especially this horse. He's a little friendlier than most. He got really sad when people left the middle. He didn't like that at all. So he always, like, look at him, he's like, hey, come back, friend. What are you doing? So he's got kind of a funny personality like that. You see, he's still got an ear back on her, like, what's she doing over there? Why can't you help me? So it took us a little while to get him to where he kind of had the confidence to go around out here. And then I start cutting across the center of my round pen and teach him to follow his nose. So I'll cut the pen in half, I'll steer back across, and just remember when you're out here, there's nowhere in this pen that I don't want to be, okay? So one of the big mistakes I see people make is they'll go to turn their horse, and they'll turn too far, and they'll like bring him back across this way, and then maybe that's too far, and they'll come back this way. Oh, that's too far, come back this way. Don't go right to left on your horses, because that just confused it, right? If I go to turn left, I'm going to turn left and just set him down and say, that was good enough. I'll turn left again. That was good enough. I'll turn right. That was good enough. Okay? If I turn too far or not far enough, I'll just get it next time. Okay? Okay? So.
Do you want me to show them the equipment that you used?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is what he uses to lunge him with, like for all the colts. These are the tires that you guys all know, right here. And then so those the back of the saddle ring, so they at least like your legs hitting them. And then the rubber strap that we showed in the beginning.
Yep.
And I'll show you guys this bit like up close. This is rubber snaffle. Well, it has a little dirt on it, but it was laying in the dirt. But this is rubber snaffle that when you start to break them out, you use it.
Yep.
So this is what it looks like.
Anytime I'll take their head away from them, like with a rubber strap or rubber strap or draw reins. If I use draw reins, if I clip them down and lunge them like with side reins or anything on, I'm going to use a rubber snap before.
And then it's like a pacifier kind of.
Yep,
They just kind of stuck on it.
It's a good bit. It won't intimidate them. It won't cut them up. They can push on it, lean on it, and just learn how to get soft to it and be really good about it. So that's kind of my go-to bit for anything that involves taking their face away in the beginning.
And then right now you have a smooth snaffle.
Now it's just a smooth snaffle and a straight rein.
Yep. Something too big.
And we won't go to touch his face and take it away from him until like 30, 45, 60 rides, somewhere around there. I just want to find himself.
How long you say this strap is?
About an arm's length, probably.
Measure this.
Sure. Hold it up.
It's
sweetie.
about an arm's length.
Nothing too much. It's maybe a little long.
Yep.
We can get an exact measurement and put it up in the follow-up video tomorrow.
Yep. We usually sometimes have shorter ones and then.
Yep, we use
it's
all
a little
different
longer.
sizes.
Yep, all different sizes. It kind of depends on the horse too.
Yep.
And how wild they give their face and everything. Woo.
He's frisky enough.
He has an audience.
He's showing off for the crowd.
Yeah.
All I want is him to be soft and rhythmic and easy. I want him to listen to my transitions, be really good about it. I've got some steering on him now. I can steer him across here, at a jog, steer him across. This all comes from my turnaround, guys. That's I use that fence to teach that. Come down here, steer him across. Notice I'm not going to turn left. I'm on right turns right now. That's all I'm doing is right turns right now. Until I go to break down and walk, I'm not going to be jogging to the right and go left. Okay, walk. Good boy. So that's very quickly my very first, probably 30 days on one. Just want a horse that's quiet. Want one that's not skittish. I can jump around on him. I can bounce. I can flop. I can make noise. He's really calm. I've got some steering. I can roll him into the fence here. I don't have a backup yet. That comes a little later. Just want to get a good stop and teach him patience and be a happy camper. Right? I want a horse that's a willing student. So I finish up that ride. There's a big puff, little lick and chew. That's what I want to see. Okay? So now you guys will be a little bit more up to speed with what happened before the 2-year-old clinic on Peanut that we did a little while ago.
Yep.
Our next 2-year-old clinic will be on Peanut again,
yes.
so you guys can kind of see where we're at with that, what we're doing now after we've already established the side pass and everything. You see again, I've got my horse really soft right here, gives his neck up, gives this piece up right here. So if I have this, I can use my weight and my foot and teach him how to side pass and do different things.
Right.
Okay? So I just wanted to take a step back. We started on Peanut, which had a little bit more rides than what I wanted to. We're going to start you guys from the very beginning and move you up as they move up and kind of fill you in as we go. Whether it's horsemanship, showmanship, or this stuff. We'll start right at the beginning, right at the foundation, make sure you guys have an understanding of what it is we're trying to get, and then we'll just teach you how we do it the whole way through. So we'll feel free to ask any questions you want. We'll get to them either tonight, I'll type them out, or we'll address them in the follow-up video tomorrow, which we promise we will get to.
We have a lot of exciting news to tell you guys, so we'll answer all your questions, our news we got to tell you guys, and anything else.
Yep. This video will be uploaded to our YouTube afterwards. The link will be put in the event, and then I'll put it in the follow-up video tomorrow. I hope you guys learned something. If you learned something, if you liked it, feel free to donate. The link to my PayPal is below. If you didn't learn anything, you don't feel like donating, don't worry, I will get you. We will teach you something. I'm determined. We're going to keep doing this until you all learn something. Okay? So thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. This is our 2-year-old clinic. We'll see you guys next Tuesday for another clinic. I don't know what we're going to do yet.
You guys tell us, what do you guys want to see next Tuesday?
Yep.
Message me and Jeremy and tell me what you guys would like to see.
Yep, it'll probably be one of the 3 events right now, horsemanship, showmanship, or pleasure. So
Thank you,
we'll
everyone.
kind of go from there.
Have a good night.
So have a great weekend, guys.
Bye.
See you tomorrow for the follow-up, and see you Tuesday for the next video.
Yes. Bye.